Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. It's your boy, Pastor Jay. Welcome to another edition of Kingdom Conversations. I hope that everybody had an amazing weekend and that you spent some time doing stuff that you love to do, that you had some fun, that you spent time with family and friends. And of course, we admonish everybody to spend time giving honor and praise to God at some time during your weekend. Matter of fact, I think you should do it every day because God is just a good and faithful God, and He's been so kind to us and kept us all safe for us all to be here another time. So everybody that's coming into the room, I want you to like, comment, share this video. We are going to be talking about something amazing today. I have some fitness gurus. Anybody that knows, Pastor, I love to work out. I'm not as consistent with it as I want to be, but hopefully these brothers are going to help get me into shape because they will not be the only ones walking around with abs and medium t-shirts on this summer. I'm going to be in the number. All right. So we're going to come back and introduce our guest in just a few seconds. But while we're waiting for some more of you to come on in the room, I want you to like, share, and comment this video. Share this video. And matter of fact, let's do that right now. Everybody, I want everybody to share. We do something here at Kingdom Conversations called sharing is caring. So we take 1 minute and share the video with as many people as possible. So I want you guys to do it right now. Let's go right now. Everybody, share. I'm going to share this video now. I see Crystal, my manager, is in the building. I see y'all coming on in the room. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? We're going to take this minute and share because we got to make sure that health is wealth, and we share this information with as many people as we can. So let's all share this video with as many people as we can. Let's get them in the room. Let's get our numbers up. And what's up to everybody on YouTube, Twitter, and all the other platforms that we're sharing on? Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Got 30 seconds left, guys. Let's share. All right. Good. Here they come. The people are coming in. Shared with 17 people. That's what I'm talking about. My manager is the best. I love you so much, Crystal. Ali Sales, I see you. Cassie Royal Queen Logan. I know who that is. Trisha. What's up, Trisha? How you doing? Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. So listen, guys, we're going to bring these two great young men in, and they're going to help us get into shape, guys. We're going to be talking about an amazing new program that these guys have. But before we do that, you all know May 30th, my brand new single is dropping, Another Chance. So here goes a small snippet. The video is coming. The new single is coming. Y'all check this out. I'll be right back.
When I think of your goodness and all you've done for me, I gotta give you thanks, 'cause I should have been dead and gone. You've been good, so good.
That's it, guys. Another Chance is coming. We're ready. But today, we're going to be talking about something that affects all of us, our health, and getting into shape. So I want to bring my first guest, and then I'm going to allow him to introduce his business partner. But I met this guy about maybe 2 or 3 years ago through my boy Jonathan Sales, and we did an amazing campaign. We'll talk about that too when he comes in. But Gepetto Blyden is a certified fitness expert with the National Council on Strength and Fitness, with the focus on kinesiology and biomechanics. Gepetto is the creator of the evolution movement system called EMS, a powerful approach to movement designed to improve mobility, increase functional and relative strength, and ensure the systems of the body are collectively operating together with efficiency. There's a whole lot more that I could say about him from his bio, but I'm going to let him do some talking and introduce himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce my friend and my brother, Gepetto Blyden, to the Kingdom Conversation audience. Gepetto, what's up, man?
How are you, Pastor Jason? Thank you for having me here today.
Oh man, it's so good to have you here, man. And we are excited about what we're going to be talking about. But before we do that, I want you to introduce your business partner. Bring him, and as soon as you finish introducing him, I'll bring him in the room.
Oh, sure thing. So we have with us today Jadaria Gray. He's been a personal trainer for close to 2 decades. I'll let him give the details of that. Uh, in school, he studied medicine. You know what? Let me not get too far into the weeds on his details. Let me let him say that. But he's a great trainer. I've known him for the past, I guess, 4 years now. And we linked up with another trainer that I worked with out in New York City. I'm out on the West Coast now, but another trainer I worked with out in New York City named Richie, who's not here with us today. But Jadaria is part of the 3 members of the team, and good guy, knows his stuff. And I think once you see him, see what he has to talk about, what he has to offer, you'll be as impressed as the rest of us are.
Let's bring him to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Jadaira, what's up, my brother?
Greetings, greetings. Glad to be
Man,
here.
I feel left out. I should have put my dread wig on or something, man. Y'all out here with all these dreads and all this, man. But listen, man, I'm so thankful to have you guys. And I know that with this program, we have a lot of people that come in and out, but we really got a lot of people that watch the replay. So we want to make sure that we extend our love and appreciation to that audience as well. But today we're going to be talking about a brand new program that you guys just launched. When Gepetto hit me up about it, I automatically went back to the first campaign that we did together, Gepetto. If you remember, we did a contest for who had the best praise team. And we gave the music ministry of the church $1,000. And we had a giant check, and it was just so much fun, man. And actually, one of my partners that's under my management company, big shout out to Sherelle Cruz, the church that she was at the time, they won the contest. So I went there on a Sunday morning and gave them $1,000, and it was just amazing. But man, tell us, Gepetto, who are you? What do you do? And what program are you guys introducing today?
Yes. And let me just say, I remember that clearly like it was yesterday. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. And I was glad to be a part of that. Blessed that you were allowed us to do that with you.
Yeah.
So who I am, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I became a personal trainer a little over 20 years ago now. And I've been a trainer for basically most of my professional career. Fitness was something that became a big part of my life. I noticed a lot of members of my family were unhealthy. I was sort of healthy because I played sports, but I didn't know anything about how to eat properly, about how to exercise properly. And then as I started getting older, some of those injuries from the sports really began affecting me. And when I got into training, I really started digging in, not just on, hey, do I want to be good at this sport, but quality of life. In the beginning, like a lot of young guys, I'm going to lift the most weight and run the fastest. And I was always safe with my training, but the training was really based towards maximizing my performance. And then as I got a bit older, and I also dealt with a lot of older clients, because of my background in biology in college, as I became a trainer, I actually rose the ranks pretty quickly and started dealing with a lot of the clients that had more difficult issues to deal with. So post-rehab, people that were older or had special conditions. So I trained basically everything from young people just getting started to athletes to older populations with special needs, pre and post partum, women that were either pregnant or had just delivered and needed to get back to their baseline from beforehand. So, and as I went through that, I noticed how many people, and this really took off when I was dealing with the pre and postpartum clients, how much of the training was just based on getting them back to being able to do daily activities and do them correctly, how to squat correctly, how to pick up the child correctly or move around. And a lot of those same principles translate to everyday life. So when I was dealing with my special population clients that were older, some of them, when they would first come to me, there would be very simple things like, can they stand up from a seated position? If they get on the floor, can they get back up? Can we improve their balance so that they won't trip? If they do trip, Are they prepared to know how to fall? So that those quality of life issues, as I've gotten older, I've realized how important they are, not only for my clients, but for myself. And then
Yeah.
lastly, I'll say this and then hand things back to you and let Jadari get a word in. When the pandemic hit, it changed everything.
Yeah.
At that point in time, my clients were all in person, and there was a big shift to everybody going online. And even now, there's still a lot of people that were uncomfortable going back to the gym, or maybe their financial situation didn't allow it, or travel situation. So we put the system together to be able to focus on, hey, if you're at home, you don't have a bunch of equipment, you don't have a lot of time, how can you get a workout in? And more importantly, how can you educate yourself so that no matter where you are in life, you will always have the tools to be able to keep yourself healthy.
Mhm.
So that in a nutshell is who I am and how this got started, and I'll kick it back to you.
Good. So, Jadira, what role are you playing in this whole process?
Good. So basically, just to give you a little bit of my background, I started with my undergrad in medical. Just going in to be a doctor, but I was having a lot of fun with athletes and doing clinical exercise physiology at Florida State University.
Okay.
And when I moved out to LA and started um, running my fitness business, I was seeing 2,000 hours worth of people a day. I was also in the hospital doing X radiation and CAT scan. And I started noticing how there was a link between movement patterns, body mass index, and body fat percentage, and actually health in general, you
Mhm.
know. And what I started to notice is that sometimes it's innate, the way that people move. A lot of times the dysfunction happens by long-term habit as opposed to something happen in a traumatic fashion.
Okay.
So basically, like Gepetto said, we're dealing with clientele who previously been injured, or maybe they're aging, or maybe they're looking for peak performance. And a lot of times, if the discrepancy didn't happen from something traumatic, discrepancy started to appear from long-term wear and tear, pretty much based off the way they moved. So my focus for the most part is having the mind to body connection and having the awareness in space with the way you move your body to go up, to go down, the way you bend, the way you sit, even the way you sleep in bed. So I'm
Wow.
the
So
host.
how you sleep in bed can affect your overall body, your overall health.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Really?
I mean, when you're young, you can ball up in a knot, you can sleep one way or the other way. You know, sometimes you get old, you get too beat up to even sleep. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you go down into the mattress shop to do some shopping, the mattresses aren't cheap. So it lets you know right away that
Yeah.
it's something important about the way you lay your bones down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
absolutely, sleeping on your back instead of sleeping on your stomach. If you're on your side, do you have a pillow between your legs? Is your neck propped up appropriately? You know, you can go to sleep and wake up like you've been in a fight, according to the way you slept at night with
This
your
is
own
good,
self.
Jadira, because that's one of my major issues. Like
Hmm.
I like if I'm sleeping on my I can't sleep on my stomach at all. Period. I hate sleeping on my stomach. But if I'm laying on my back, I'm okay. But I think it probably got something to do with the pillow too, because I normally get like a crook right here in my neck if I sleep on my back. But if I sleep on my side, I'm in heaven. So is that the best way for me to go to sleep on my side? Because I don't
You
have any
know
side
what?
effect.
It definitely takes some trial and error to figure out your method, and you maybe have to find some extra pillows and do this and that. But you know what? The way that your spine is aligned, even if you're on your back, you maybe need to shove a pillow under your leg because it's just all about the curvature of your
Mm,
spine and your skeleton. Basically, the rule is don't sleep in end range of motion. Any if you're
okay.
sleeping in any end range of motion, you could be looking at some potential pain. And of course, just like you have daily habits, the way you move and do this and that, your sleeping habits, you have to retrain yourself even in sleeping, my friend.
Yeah, I'm telling you because me personally, like when I lay down, it like all my friends, they all laugh at me. Everybody in my family laughs at me. When I lay down, it takes me literally about a minute to fall asleep.
Oh,
I'm
that's
gone.
beautiful.
But what happens if I'm in the wrong position? I wake up and I'm just in pain. But if I happen to fall asleep on my side, it's the best sleep ever. So I never knew it was because of how I was laying. That's powerful.
But I'll chime in for a second. The Jadari mentioned trial and error. Everybody's different. Everybody's body's different. Some people can fall asleep in certain positions that other people can't.
Hmm.
In general, side sleeping causes a lot of problems. And I'm bringing this up for all the people that are watching. It
Oh
may be
my
great for you. No, no, you may not be doing it wrong.
God.
Like
Okay.
when Jadaria was talking about having pillow placement, the point of the pillow placement when you're on your side, we're not gonna get too far into the weeds here. We could come back and talk about that in greater detail, or
Okay.
people can reach out to us for it.
Right. Right. Right.
But it's about the alignment of the spine. So if you have pillows placed in the right way and your spine is in a nice neutral position, you're usually fine. The problem is if the pillow is not the right height or you don't have one. When Jadaria says end range of motion, so basically if my neck is to the side, this is the end range. I can't go any farther. And that's when people wake up these pinched nerves in their neck or pulled stressed muscles, things of that nature. So in general, for the people watching, I would say side sleeping, if you're going to do it, you really want to do it correctly because it's probably the position that causes the most issues.
Mm, that's powerful. So now, without getting into too much of the details, because now everybody's coming in, and I'm sure we're gonna have some questions a little bit later on in the show. But you guys are starting a new program because COVID has changed all of our lives. It has changed the way I do what I do as a pastor. I'm used to having a jam-packed church and people in there with me. And for I think 2 years straight, I had to preach to an empty church. And to be honest with you, things have not bounced back like I would have liked it to. So the virtual piece, thank God, we started our virtual church 3 years before the pandemic. So the culture for the virtual piece for our church was an easy transition. But now, virtual workouts, virtual trainers, that's like a big thing now. So tell everybody what you guys are doing because I think it's absolutely necessary for the new normal that we're seeing now. So tell us about
All right,
what you guys are doing.
I'll start it off, and if you want to chime in at any point, Jadaria, feel free to chime in. What we're doing is we just finished building out a website, percentgrindfitness.com. And we're also in the process of having an app put together because we know a lot of the population prefers to use apps, do something right off their phone and have to go to the computer and use the website. So we have that on the way as well. And the program is centered around being able to work out anywhere. So if you're at home, if you're at work, if you have the kids around you. Now, we're open to expanding. So if we see a demand for certain things, if we have people that say, hey, I am back at the gym and I want to do some hypertrophy training, which is just a fancy way of saying like bodybuilding or muscle building,
Say
getting
that
bigger
one more
muscles,
time. What is it called?
hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy. Because I
Right.
love adding new words to my vocabulary. So you're loading me up right now.
Yeah. So, so if there's a demand for something that we don't have, we can add it in. The
Okay.
main thing to take away from what we're putting together, not only is the fact that it's geared towards you being able to use a lot of your own body weight. If there is equipment, there's minimal equipment, and do the workout anywhere. But it's not a set program like if you purchased, if you remember the P90X programs and things
Mhm.
like that. They were, and I'm not saying anything negative about those programs, but they were for a set amount of time. And then once you reach the end of the series, you would just be repeating things on your own. This is more interactive and there's always going to be something new. If you were with us for the next 10 years, there'd still be new things to learn 10 years from now. As a trainer, I'm still learning new things virtually every day. Whether it's something new in terms of knowledge or whether it's something new in terms of, hey, I just figured out how to move my body to make this work.
Right.
Because besides your muscles and your cardiovascular system and all of that, your central nervous system is important as well. So people need to learn how to move. A lot of strength and movement comes from just knowing what to do. And for those of you that are not big into fitness, think about this example from your everyday life. Have you ever gotten out of bed and the first two steps are a little difficult and then your body figures it out? Or you already were walking around all day and you went to walk up some steps and the first 2 or 3 steps are difficult and then your body figures it out. The body didn't miraculously get stronger. Your central nervous system said, I know what to do. I know when to apply the pressure. I know what order to send the signals to the muscles that are going to have to react and work in conjunction with one another. So a lot of this is just relearning how to move properly on top of being able to have a workout that you can do from anywhere. And I'll leave it at this and let you take over, Jay, if you want to add anything in. I get a lot in my families and in the families of my friends, people that, especially when they're getting older, they have aches and pains and they just accept it. They say, oh, I'm getting older, and I'm like, yeah, we all age, but trust me, it's because you're not moving that the pain is getting worse. It's because you're sitting that your back is getting worse. And take a look at some other countries, especially lesser developed countries that don't have all the nice chairs and internet and things that we have. And you'll see people in their 60s, 70s, 80s still can do a deep squat like they're a young toddler. So, and that's what Jediah was hinting at earlier when he says a big part of the problem are habits that we've done over time. Your body, your muscles, your tissues will take, it's funny, some things your parents told you when you were growing up were true. Like when they would say, hey, don't hold your face that way, it'll stick that way. Now, there's some truth behind that because whatever position you tend to hold, your body, and I'm not going to go too far into the weeds here today because this is pretty extensive if you study something like anatomy trains, your tissues and muscles start taking on that shape. Now, there are good reasons for it, and there are good reasons why it takes so long. For instance, if I sat down today, I wouldn't want my tissues to instantly take the shape. I wouldn't be able to stand back up.
Right.
So that defense mechanism works against you, though, if you've been doing something for many years, because now when you go to correct it, you can't correct it right away. You're going to have to take a lot of time of getting back into the correct position.
So do you have to be in shape to start the program that you guys have, or this works for anybody regardless of age, shape, weight, color, all that stuff that people use as, I can't do it. Anybody could do this.
Anyone can do this. And I'll start off by saying this. When you come into the program, it's not a set program where it's just, hey, there's X amount of weeks and this is what you're going to do. When you come in, you're going to start learning how to evaluate. So if we give you some basic positions, and each of us has a different program that we're over. So my program works more on general mobility, proprioception, which is like your body's awareness of itself in space, balance, things like that. Jediah is more dealing, he also has a mobility tilt to it and a lot of flexibility, more of a yoga feel to his. And then Richie is more of the traditional kind of at-home core building, push-ups, things like that, more the typical strength building with body weight, like you can say calisthenics type of work.
Okay.
So anyone can start this. The question is, where are you at? So let's say I have somebody that had a hip surgery. Well, if you had a hip surgery, typically you're not going to want to just squat down into a deep squat.
Right.
So we have to figure out where you're at. And then, so there's always things in the program where here's the easiest way to do this, what we would call a regression. If you can't squat, people think squat, they think, I'm going to put this weight on my back and squat. But if you sit down in the seat, you're squatting. That's a squat position. So when we tell somebody we're going to teach you how to do a movement, we're talking about movement pattern, not a specific exercise. And if you're unable to do that movement pattern, you need to learn a prerequisite. If I can't do a deep squat, is it because my ankle doesn't have mobility? Is it because my knee doesn't have enough mobility? Is my groin tight? Is it all of the above? So you're going to learn to evaluate your body with the program. So to answer the question in short, any level you can come in. And we will always recommend, if you have some type of special issue going on, you need to consult your doctor or your physical therapist, figure out what's going on, and then you can use this to supplement the workout going forward.
That's good. Jadari, you want to add anything to it?
Yeah, I mean, he covered a lot of bases. Um, with the part of the program that I'm hosting, the Limber series, um, like you said, it kind of intertwines a lot because first of all, the gift of life and energy is just a marvelous thing. And
Yeah.
a lot of people go on about having good energy, but if you have energy to start already, you know, it's almost part of your duty to maintain it with the rest of your body and your mind and your soul. So these habits and mechanics, you know, knowing how to create the proper leverage with your bone structure and skeleton, using your muscles, which are given the instructions to go from your nervous system. And what happens when you practice intricate movements, which may seem counterintuitive to what people know as fitness, because we're not coming out here and asking you to go ahead and lift 300 pounds. You
Right.
may think, how am I going to be getting in shape that way?
Mhm.
But having an understanding for leverage is important. The way to situate your bones and activate your muscles so that, of course, you know, the skeleton falls to the ground without the muscle structure.
Right.
So first of all, starting off with the skeleton, understanding the range of motion that your skeleton might produce at a particular joint, and
Mhm.
then understand that the muscles are the basically pulleys that act on your bones to move them and put them in the proper structure and make the movements that you might so choose. People might know what it feels like to catch a cramp.
Mhm.
And that's just basically you're getting a signal from your nervous system telling your muscles to contract at a time when you didn't ask it to contract, which can be very painful.
Is that
But
similar to like a Charlie horse? Is that like, because I always wanted to know where, like I could be dead sleep and I'll catch one in my sleep and it's like I turn into Michael Jordan. I jump up, and I'm limping and limping. And you know the remedy that I use? I don't know,
what's that?
because my friend, one of my friends, Big House, his family is from Bennettsville, South Carolina, and he
That's what's
told
up.
me, he said, "Listen, if you ever catch a Charlie horse, and I want y'all to make, because if he's wrong, I'm gonna get him." He told me and all everybody in my church, if you catch a Charlie horse, to drink, to eat mustard straight,
Do you
and
want
that
to chime in, Jediah, or should I?
Go ahead,
is
Gepetto.
there any truth to that, y'all? Because I'm so
Okay.
sick of him telling
I
me this kind of
All right.
stuff.
I can't answer if there's truth to the mustard. I would need to know what the ingredients are in it. The issue with the advice is not all cramps happen for the same reason.
Hmm.
And so even if there was truth to it, it wouldn't be true for everything. Um, for instance, if there's some type of issue with the way that you're taking in calcium or potassium, that could cause it. If you're dehydrated, that could cause it. Simply overworking the muscle can cause it. Um, so there's no one remedy. One thing that is good though is if you can get the muscle to relax. There are a few ways to do that. You can do what we would call self-myofascial release, which is just a fancy way of saying you're massaging yourself. Um,
Wait, Gepetto, you killing me with these big words. Say it again slow, because I'm writing this stuff down, and I need to, because I want everybody to think I know what I'm talking about. So you got to help me out.
we're
Say
gonna
that
put it
one more
all up. We're gonna put it all up online, but it's called self-myofascial release. So all of the terms that you'll hear in fitness or medicine basically are, a lot of them are Latin terms that basically describe a part of the body.
Okay.
So if I say myo, I'm usually referring to muscle. If I say fascial, I'm referring to fascia, the tissue that surrounds it. And then release, obviously, we all know what release is.
Right.
So It's basically, like I said, the fancy way of saying massage. But the other thing is, you can activate the opposing muscle. So if my bicep is cramping, I can activate my tricep, which will relax my bicep.
Really?
You typically won't have what we would call an agonist and antagonist. So for those of you that are in literature, you have a protagonist and an antagonist,
Right.
but in fitness, it's an antagonist and an agonist. So, so if I can activate the opposing muscle, a lot of times that will shut off the muscle that's cramping enough that I can get a little relief. But there's
So if
no
I'm
one
cramping in my
fix.
leg and I massage my bicep,
No, because those aren't
all
opposing
right,
muscles.
you gotta
So
make it a little
right,
clear.
right, right. So the way you know what an opposing muscle
Right.
is it has to do the opposite action of the muscle in question. So
Okay.
my quadricep, there are several quadriceps, but we're going to just speak vaguely. My quadricep will flex my knee, which basically means it's straightening my knee. It has some other actions, but we're just going to keep it to that for now. So what muscle does the opposite and flexes my knee? If the quad is going to extend the knee, what muscle is going to flex the knee? My hamstring is going to flex the knee. So in order to shut my quad off, I need to activate my hamstring. And in actual movement terms, instead of straightening my knee, I need to bend my knee as much as I can, which means I'm working my hamstring more and shutting off my quad. So the agonist and antagonist muscles are the muscles that do the exact opposite movement on a given joint.
That's powerful, and I hope you guys understand. And you know, one of the things that I love about this is that this is, and not that you guys are a religious organization, but this is rooted and grounded in the Word of God. You know, me being a pastor, I love to find scripture that backs up whatever I do. And in Third John, the book of Third John, God tells His people, "I would that you would prosper and be in good health, even as your soul does prosper." So, from God's mindset, He never created us or intended for us to be given this gift of life and just watch our bodies deteriorate and not take care of ourselves and just be powerful in church and, be praising God and screaming and yelling, then going home after church and you can't even sit down. You can't even walk around anymore. That's not the will of God. So, this is really outstanding that we're actually seeing the marketplace and the scriptures come together, because this is what you guys are promoting is actually the intent of God concerning our health. So for all of our church viewers that, tune into the show, got some scripture for it. So you know me, I'm always going to try to find some Bible to back what we do and what I push. And these guys are doing something that God intended for us to do, to prosper, to be in good health, even as our soul prospers. So that means that it's just not good enough for you to be strong spiritually and weak physically. God wants you to be strong in both areas. So what these brothers are doing is very powerful and very spiritual at the same time. So I just wanted to throw that in there, man, because that's a great combination. Great
Yeah.
Oh,
combination.
certainly, agree 100%. And just to let the audience know, we grew up in the church.
Yeah,
I've been to your church before,
yeah, yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
but I grew up in the
Jara
church.
ain't been, but we got to work on him. When he comes to the East Coast, you got to come check us out.
Yeah, yeah. And what you just said segues us to the next topic, which is why we're here in front of the church.
Yeah,
We grew up in the church. I've seen a lot of the health issues, and our church and our community overlap a great deal.
yeah.
So a lot of the issues that we'd see in our community, and when I say our community, you asked earlier, is this program for everyone? Yes, the program is for everyone. It doesn't matter age, gender, ethnicity, it's for everyone. But the three of us all came from urban areas. The three of us all grew up in church, and we're looking around and saying, hey, we want to do something specifically with a focus on our community, even though it's open to everybody. We definitely wanted to focus on our community. When COVID hit, it hit us the hardest.
Yeah.
It hit us the hardest because we have the most comorbidities, which are just deficiencies in the body, for lack of a better term. So if I have high blood pressure, I was more vulnerable to COVID. If I was obese, I was more vulnerable to COVID. If I had diabetes, I was more vulnerable to COVID. One of my musician friends passed away in his 30s like just, or he may have just turned 40, um,
Wow.
because of his health issues, and he got COVID. We're talking for like 3 days, and then the text stopped, and all of a sudden I get the word.
Wow.
And you can't, working out, fitness, eating right, having an active life, it's not a cure all. But
Yeah.
what it is it gives you a better chance. If there are a million things in this world that could affect our life negatively, well, I don't want to make it 2 million. I don't want to make it 3 million. I
Right.
want to turn the 1 million to 500,000, to 500,000 to 100,000. And because it's not just about how long you're here, it's your quality of life.
Yeah.
My maternal grandmother, the entire time that I knew her, she was in a wheelchair.
Mm.
And I knew her, she passed away when I was in my 20s. So over 2 decades of life, and I barely saw my grandmother stand up.
Wow.
And that sticks with me. And I see
Mhm.
how often that happens in our communities where if I grew up in a black neighborhood, but I went to school in, I guess it was mostly Caucasian, but it was mixed.
Mhm.
And the neighborhood I grew up in was a lower middle class. The area I went to school was upper middle class. Now, when I was in my neighborhood, if I went into a store, bodega, for those people out there in New York that know the corner stores and stuff, all the liquor was in the front of the store.
Right.
But if I was in the next neighborhood over, the liquor was in the back of the store.
Hmm.
They had fresh fruit stands out
Yeah.
on the street. We had honey buns and quarter waters for those that are old enough to remember when we had the little sugary waters that actually just cost a quarter.
Yeah.
Um,
Quarter waters.
so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's for everyone. But one of the reasons that we're here with you talking to this audience is we understand the need in our community for it. And I'm sure you can attest to that as well, Jadaria, growing up in Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like this pastor was saying, you know, to have this holistic way where it's not just understanding the merit that you might receive in your words at church, in the mental development, but actually transferring these tactics and ways of understanding in a holistic manner. Meaning, hey, you have some discipline to read into your word. You know, there's going to be a certain time of the day where you might need your energy. Suddenly, you need discipline to understand the type of nutrition that might work for you. Also, understanding the type of movements that may go ahead and get you exhilarated. But I think, all in all, to manage to give a life and basically live up to, not necessarily trying to push our title here, the percent grind, but just basically living up to a particular degree of potential that you've been given, and just not let yourself go to waste if need not be.
Yeah.
Listen, you talking so much truth, brother, because I'll just be transparent. During the pandemic, my my weight shot up to 260 pounds.
Hmm, hmm,
That was the biggest I've ever been in my life. And I just felt horrible. I was sluggish. I was dropping, falling asleep in meetings. And I'm
hmm.
supposed to be, I'm in school. I graduate next month with my bachelor's.
Ah,
But
congrats.
I'm in class on Zoom, and I'm people texting my classmates text me, "Yo, Jay, get up," because I'm falling asleep. Because every time I was eating what I was eating, because it was not good food, it would just make me drowsy and sleepy. And so I just made a decision. And this is what I want to encourage all of our people that's tuned in. You guys got to make a decision, because right now I'm at 240. I dropped 20 pounds, and I want to drop another 20. My goal is to get to 220, then start toning. But I feel so much better. I'm much more alert. I'm not falling asleep in meetings anymore. Because when you just, I mean, for the pandemic, we couldn't go anywhere. So all I was doing was, and the crazy thing is, I bought a bike. I got resistance bands in the house. I got everything that I need, jump ropes, but I just didn't feel like working out, and the weight came on and it got on. So I want you to speak to somebody that may be where I was at, because I'm telling you, it's not a good place mentally. It's definitely not a good place physically. Um, what would you say to the person that is in that slump that needs to jump out? You know, encourage them real quick.
Right? I'm going to answer that in two ways. The slump, obviously, it comes from a mindset. But
Yeah.
what the cause of that mindset is, we don't know. There are some things where they may actually need to be speaking to a professional
Mm,
if they're depressed or something else is going on. And that's advice beyond what we could give them.
right.
So then I'm going to answer in a more general term. Do something. Doesn't have to be a ton. So let's say that you wanted to run a marathon. If you go try to run a marathon in day one, you're probably not going to make it. There's some special people out there that can, but most of us are not going to make it.
I know I won't.
Yeah, it could be mentally you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
It could be that your body's not ready for it, and you get an injury along the way. Um, you have to build habits, and habits take a while to get used to. Notice when you when the pandemic hit, and the habits work in both directions. So when the pandemic hits, and you start eating a little more, you start sitting a little more. Body gets used to sitting more. Your body gets used to eating more. The same thing happens when you work out. If I start working out and I say, you know what, I'm going to make sure that this week I get 5 minutes of working out in every day.
Mm,
Somebody might hear that and snicker and say, that sounds like nothing. But what it was is me developing the habit. Now my body, it knows, oh yeah, I can do this 5 minutes. It's no problem. And then I add on a bit. Now it's 10 minutes. Then it's 20. Then it's 30. Maybe you're doing a certain level of intensity and you can pick it up because you built these habits. So habits are really the key, and give yourself something. You need wins. You need wins along the way.
yeah.
So if I was to go try to run a marathon today and my goal was I'm going to finish the race. If I don't finish the race, I might feel like a failure. But if my goal was I'm going to run one block, I got my win for that day. Then tomorrow I'm going to run 2 blocks. And then it might be a couple of weeks, it might be a couple of months, but I'm going to stack those wins all the way up to the ultimate prize or goal.
Gepetto, you
Hmm.
sure you're not a preacher, man? Because you,
I
a
grew
lot
up
of
in the
people
church. I did grow up in the church.
listen, because I this is what I teach my congregation, that any area in your life that you want to have success in, you should set realistic short-term and long-term goals. Because what happens, like you said, once you start accomplishing those short-term goals, it's something that happens to you mentally. You start, your swag starts to increase, your confidence gets a little stronger, and you say, okay, I was on the treadmill for 15 minutes, let's try 25. And next thing you know, it becomes a habitual habit. So, these are the things that we need to really take in and consider when dealing with ourselves, setting short term, long term goals, but they all need to be realistic. Because again, the psyche of an individual that actually achieves something, it just gets stronger and it just becomes more normal. It becomes relatable. Like I teach my church, we don't celebrate second place. It's just a mindset. Like, nah, we want that win. And we're gonna keep, and even if we do come in second place, we congratulate who won and we tell them, I'm coming back. Don't get too comfortable with that belt. Don't get too comfortable with that win, because I'm coming back for it. And what it has done, it has just created a culture of people that are hungry for success and health and prosperity. So I think that what you guys are doing and what you want to introduce to the church community is very necessary, because I'll say it. You probably won't say it because it'd probably be politically incorrect for you guys to say it. But the church has some of the most unhealthy people, and it's because of the way we eat and the habits that we have. Because we'll go to church, go to service, go to a concert, and we really shouldn't be eating after 6 or after 8 p.m. And sometimes we don't get out the concert till 10. We'll go to the diner. Everybody's eating cheeseburgers, onion rings, sodas, and then when we die, the repast serves the same food that killed us.
Hmm.
So these things psychologically, we have to make a change, and it starts with the small steps that I think are very possible, because I'm doing it now. Like, I have eliminated fried food, I've eliminated soda. Uh, I only drink 100% juice if I do that, but mostly I'm just drinking water now, and I'm watching the results. I'm exercising every day, I'm jumping rope, and the pounds are just falling off, man. So I'm like, wow. And it makes me want to go to the gym now. It makes me want to work out, even if I work out at the house. So, you know, how can people get involved in the program that you guys are doing?
All right. Jadaria, I'm going to actually let you answer that question. But before we do, I just want to touch on what you just said about the food
Yeah.
and the unhealthiness in our church community. A lot of it stems from, obviously, some of it are, there can be addictions to food. I mean, sugar is an extremely addictive substance. Some of it is a lack of knowledge. I remember growing up, and maybe there was a family gathering and a relative walks in, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're so skinny. Are you eating?" And now looking back on it, I'm like, no, that person was actually healthy. And the people that were unhealthy were their idea, their perception of healthy was different. And as an African American trainer, one thing that I get a lot was I would have African American prospective clients come in, particularly African American female clients. It's not strictly them, but in my experience, I felt this happened a lot. They would come in and say, "I want a trainer that understands the black body," and I got what they were saying, but sometimes there was an aspect to it that I'm not sure they quite understood, which was, I know that they were saying, "Hey, I've got a little more curve, I got a little more muscle, a little more thigh." Fine, that's muscle, or it could be the shape of your bone structure. But a lot of times they would say it in terms of body fat percentage as well. And I would know in my head, okay, at some point along the way, I'm going to have to get them to see that their perception of what healthy is in terms of that body fat percentage is off. For some people, you might have the feeling that I can have that conversation right away. For some people, you may say, no, I'm going to slowly give them some tips here and there and bring them along. So I would say that the perception in our community, in our communities, are often, in terms of health, are often a little off. We're not exactly sure what the healthy body is supposed to be. And if we can educate, and that's why I want Jadari to go into how to get into our program, because if we can give the right education and what healthy is, and it can go the other way also. You have people that are anorexic, people that are starving themselves, and they think that's healthy. And first of all, everybody's body's different.
Right.
Not everybody can easily walk around with a six pack. For some people, the body fat percentage might even be too low. You might store a greater percentage of your body fat in your midsection. So
wait a minute, Gepetto. You mean to tell me that there's no guarantee I'm gonna have a six pack?
Everybody's
I just got the press, brother. I just got the press.
Everybody's got a six pack.
Because I see it.
What's over the six pack?
Right, because I can see it a little bit. A little bit.
But realistically, the point is that walking around at, let's say 8% body fat, just to throw a number out. If a person's at 8% body fat, you're seeing all the striations and definition. That might be very easy for that person to do. For somebody else to get to 8%, they may feel like they're starving themselves, or they've got to eat a ton of protein and they're miserable sitting down eating and lifting all these weights. So look at professional athletes. You have, for those that are NBA fans, look at Nikola Jokic. You're talking about a person that's probably working out 6 hours a day and has no definition. Everybody's body's, I don't know what his diet is, but still to work out 6 hours a day and have no definition.
That's weird.
But it happens more often than you might think. So a lot of these things you won't find out until you start working out and seeing how your body adapts. Now, and the reason I bring this up is not to say that you can't get to the six pack. Are there literally some people that may not be able to get to it? Yeah, I'm sure they exist in the world. But for most people, it's about what's your healthy range, and beyond that, because a lot of people come into the gym for aesthetics, or they go to the trainer for aesthetics.
Right.
And health and aesthetics are two different things. They can overlap. But sometimes for you to get that body you want, it may not be the healthiest thing for you to do. And you won't know that until you start working out, eating correctly, living the right lifestyle, and seeing how your body responds. If you've ever seen an interview of some of these cover models or actors that get really ripped for a movie, some of them will tell you, I can't do that all year round. I start feeling sick. I do it to get there for a week or a competition, and then that's it. You see it on the magazine cover, but that's not how I walk around every day. But with that said, the question, how to get into the program, let me go ahead and turn it over to you, Jediah. I've been talking enough.
Well, that's good. You were saving me from needing to blab my mouth so much. But yeah, Pastor, I think, honestly, the way to go, and it's in line with the scriptures, is just think about cultivation. All right. Think about the way that God arranged the sun to rise and set, and the moon to rise and set, and the plants in the season to carry on and grow at a certain times. It's cultivation. It's the same way with your body. You can think of it in ways of cultivation, with the ways of energy. If you got an energy system to maintain, you might understand that it takes a little energy in to get a little bit of energy out. Anyone who had any experience with gardening or planting or farming in any way, form, or fashion know that you can start off and plant one seed, and with that one seed, it might yield, several or multiple fruit. And at the same time, if you plant a watermelon seed, you're not going to get a fickle back. So energy wise, it's not as complicated as you seem. It's no way to pay for dedicating your energy. Just like the way you have gauges on your vehicle, you understand if you got gas, you understand if you got a tachometer, if you're pushing your car hard, is your oil light on, or how's the temperature? Right? You should be able to formulate these kind of gauges for your body and for yourself to understand your level of energy and being able to weigh out what you might be going through in your life. But to stick to the point, all it takes is the time to dedicate a little bit of the energy that you may have, because the same rules apply with you like farming. You may start off feeling like you don't have a lot of energy. You're taking a sleeping class. I'm already taking a sleeping class. How do I have any energy to work out? I'm tired. It's amazing to start off with just a little bit of donating that energy, even if you're tired. The yield that comes back is double, triple, quadruple fold, right? So I think if you stay in line with the same rules that governs all you have to do is pick the time to dedicate a little bit of energy, and just have a habit out of just dedicating that little bit of time to do that. Because afterwards, it's going to be contagious. Most times, when you start to see everyone likes a deal, to pin in a little bit and get a lot back is quite fascinating. And we should have this type of abundance. This type of abundance should be transferable into life, mind, body, and soul.
It's
I'd
amazing.
like to let me get really specific in terms of how people can actually get into the program. And I'm sure you'll follow up with this for the viewers out there, what links they can go to. So you don't want to go straight to Percent Grind Fitness, because the normal pricing structure is higher than what we've put in place for anyone from the church community. So there's a special link that Pastor Jason has that he will make available to you where you'll be able to get a discount. So typically a monthly rate on the site would be $30 a month, but with the discount coming in through the church, it's down to $20 a month. Normally, you would have to pay a year up front to get that discount, but through the special link, you can go month to month and you have the discount without having to pay the year up front. There's also a 2-week free trial. So anyone that's like, well, hey, I don't know if I like it yet or I don't want to commit, you can do the 2-week free trial. You do have to put in payment information. We don't see that payment information. So I'm going to get a little specific about how the site works. We don't see any of your payment information. That's Stripe, big third-party company that processes that. So if the 2-week trial ends and you stay in, then you would start getting charged. If before the 2 weeks are up, you decide, hey, I don't want to continue, then you wouldn't get charged. So you can actually test it out through the link that Pastor Jason will put up for no charge for those first 2 weeks. And then if you continue, you have the discounted price. The other thing is, we're not promoting this all over social media. And even though technically this will go out to some social media, it's not like just being promoted out to everyone. We're going through these particular communities or churches so that we can deal with a smaller group of people and actually give you what you want. Yes, we have things in place that are going to start off that we know are good general things, but now we can listen to you and hear, hey, this is something of concern in the community. Can we tackle that topic? And now if we have enough demand for it, we can say, yes, let's go ahead and tackle that topic. So the way that things are set up right now, it allows us a great deal of interaction with the audience. And then besides going through the website, like I said, once the 2 weeks are up, you'll see the different programs that are in there. You can try the programs out. Some of each program has its own system of how to get in place. Actually, in my program, in my system, I'm actually putting in right now the first 6 weeks of how to get started. So this is great timing for everybody, anyone that would be coming in this week. They'd be coming in just as that's going up. So there are some general information. Here's the workout. Here's how you do it. Here's a tutorial. And then there are things where it's like, okay, I don't know where I'm starting at. Where do I get started? Okay, here's a beginner's way to get yourself started. By the time you're done with the set amount of weeks in this program, you'll be able to evaluate yourself and know where to go from there. And we'll be constantly updating the site and answering the most common questions that come.
Man, this is so great. So guys, if there's anyone out there that wants to get in shape, and this is all virtual, correct?
It's all virtual, yes.
All virtual, so you don't have to leave the comfort of your home or your office. Like me, I'm going to be doing it right from here, right in the office. I'm going to be working out with these guys and getting myself to where I need to be. Because again, it's all about seeing yourself where you want to be, and not judging yourself because of your past bad habits, the past issues, the past attempts that maybe did not work out well. You got to do it again. That's one of the things about waking up in the morning. What is your why factor? Every successful person has a why factor. Why do you do what you do? And I'm doing this because I want to live to see my grandkids get old. I want to be around, and I don't want to be walking around with a walker. I don't want to be walking around with a cane. I want to be one of them OGs that's still running and, dressing fly, looking good, feeling good, and being a living example to other people that you really can live a healthy and prosperous life. And believe it or not, guys, I've learned that once you start thinking positively about your health and making changes concerning your health, you start making changes in every area of your life, because you just want to be, it just affects everything, man. So I think what you guys are doing is wonderful, and I really appreciate you guys for coming. And unfortunately, I'm taping in Brooklyn, and you hear the soundtrack to Brooklyn. Every problem. 5 minutes is police, ambulance, fire trucks, everything. It's construction going on outside. It's a whole lot, but it wouldn't be New York if it wasn't. But again, I want you guys to get in contact with us. I have the link, so if anybody that's in our audience is interested, anybody from Restoration that's interested, we got the hookup. Some of you guys have asked me, Pastor, what's going on? Well, it's here, guys. We got the links. They're ready to go. Gepetto will even come in and do something with the church in a smaller setting, if possible, via Zoom, whatever. These guys are more than willing to work with us and help us get to where we need to be, man. So thank you, brothers, for coming to Kingdom Conversations. This just shows the diversity of our show, because normally we have entertainers and preachers on there, but I really wanted to do this because me and Gepetto were trying to get together for the past couple of weeks. And I was like, man, just bringing Kingdom Conversations, perfect, and it'll go out to so many different platforms, and everybody from my church will tune in probably tonight, because we're going to do a replay at 7:30 tonight, so it'll be back on so everybody can see, because a lot of people are at work now, different things like that. But what we normally like to do at the end of every Kingdom Conversations, and this is going to be really interesting because you guys are, in my opinion, brilliant. Just listening to you guys talk, I've learned so much today. I play a game called Word Association. And how this works is I say a word and you guys give me the first word that comes to your mind. And there's no wrong answer. Okay?
Okay.
You ready?
All right.
Ready? All right. I'll go with Jadara first. Okay. First word I'll give you is loyalty.
Necessary.
Gepetto, strength.
Knowledge.
Okay. Jadara, back to you. Structure.
Necessary.
Gepetto, understanding.
Empathy.
This is so good. Jay, I'm coming back to you. Compassion.
Love.
Gepetto, passion.
I almost want to say the same thing that you just said, but love.
There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer.
I'm not sure I can say it in one word. Focus.
Mm.
But in all honesty, I would need more than one word to answer.
That's a good one. You know what I always talk about with passion is pursuit. Because wherever there's no passion, there'll be no pursuit. You won't go after anything in life if you don't have passion for it. It'll just be a momentary flare or fling, and you'll just let it go. But when you are passionate about something, you pursue it with everything you got, every fiber of your being. So I want to close on that one, because I think that's what we all need to get to our goals in life. You got to become passionate about you. You got to become passionate about your health, about your financial portfolio, the people that you're around. All of these things, I think, add up to our world. Even the things that we say out of our mouth, I guarantee you, whatever you're living is because it's what you've been speaking. Because words are that powerful and they shape the world that we live in. So I admonish all of you today, if you have not been doing it, start speaking healthy about yourself. Start speaking well about who and what you are, and know that God has created you to be a champion. It doesn't matter what you have been through, what areas in life you've had struggles with, what proclivities you have. You are a winner. You're a champion. And greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. So on that note, I want to tell you both, man, thank you, Gepetto, thank you, Jay, for coming to Kingdom Conversations. I'm going to do something about my hair, because next time y'all come on here, I'm going to have dreads too. And I'm going to show y'all how to do it, because I'm looking at both of y'all like, man, I need to let my hair grow, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm following Jediah.
How long did it take you, Gepetto, to because you didn't have dreads before?
No, when I don't remember if my hair was completely short the last time we saw each other, or if I had just had these short double strand twists. But this is about 3 years.
And how about you, Jay?
Jay, I'm 10 plus.
You've been growing your hair for 10 years? Jesus Christ, man. So well, you know, they say the longest journey starts with one step. So I'm going to start twisting mine tonight. Look out, I'm coming to catch up with y'all.
All right. We got room
Man,
here for you.
yeah,
Can I say one thing before we go?
absolutely.
Just in terms of the site is an on-demand site, meaning that the content is archived. But if there is a demand for live classes, and we're going to put a poll up or send one around so that people can fill it out and let us know. If there is enough demand for live classes, we will add that in. And the more participation that we have, the more cost-friendly that we can make it. So we'll put that poll up. And if that demand is there, we can definitely do live classes as well.
Man, that's amazing. So I want everybody that watches this, number one, to share this video, especially if you know anyone that is having some health challenges and wants to get in shape and wants to get to moving correctly. Man, we talked about so much today about sleeping right, about positioning and moving your body correctly. This is a powerful, powerful program. I co-sign it. I'm going to be a part of it. So you guys come get this money with me, because you know that's what we call it in the gym in the hood when you're working out. Come get that money. Let's go get this money. So let's get in shape together, guys, and let's become accountability partners, because that's the thing. Like, you know, I love going to the gym, but I hate working out by myself, you know. So now with this program, you're no longer by yourself. You know what I mean? You have a trainer in front of you. You have somebody that's going to be encouraging you, pushing you, and you don't have to do it by yourself. So let's get it in so that we can all get them summer bodies, y'all, because it's getting ready to get hot. And I'm taking my shirt off this year on the beach. I'm not getting in the pool with no t-shirt on no more. No. I'm going topless. Come on here. Y'all ain't saying nothing.
I'm taking that one. I'm using that as a slogan on
I'm going
a t-shirt
topless.
myself.
Pastor J is going topless. Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Kingdom Conversations. I appreciate y'all, brothers. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Same here. Thank you for having us.
All right. God bless, man. Listen, guys, that was amazing information. These two brothers, well, it's three of them. It's three of our other young man by the name of Rich is going to be a part of the program too. I really want, especially all of the church people, the people that go to church, we've got to get in shape, guys. We've got to start eating more healthier. We got to start turning away from, you know, I'll tell you guys a quick story. I was in King Cullen last night in Long Island, and I was in there with some of my friends, and we were going food shopping. I was just picking up some groceries, and you know, I am a snack junkie. I love snacks, but I was proud of myself because I was able to walk down the cookie aisle and look at all the Chip Ahoys and all the Nutter Butters and all those things that I used to crave and eat. And I said, look at all my exes. Look at all my exes. I broke up with Chip Ahoy's. I definitely had to break up with Oreo because Oreo and me was going through. I'm telling you, I was terrible. We had a love affair going on, me and Oreos. But I was proud because I was able to walk past all that stuff and go pick up a Nature Valley protein bar and some fresh fruits and vegetables. So, you know, it's very possible, guys, because if you think it, you can live it. So again, guys, remember, Kingdom Conversations will be back on tonight. And to everybody that's going to catch the replay tonight, thank you guys so much for tuning in. These young men are amazing and gifted, and they're trained. That's what I love about this. They're not trying to be physical trainers and fitness trainers. They actually have certification for this. They went to school for this. They know what they're talking about, and I guarantee you they'll be able to help you. So sign up for the program. Spread the word. Tell them Pastor J got the plug. If you want to get in shape, if you want to learn how to sleep right and move your body right, come and get into this program with these brothers. I'm telling you, game changer. And remember, as we log off, that no one can stop you from being who you've been called and created to be but you. And because of that, I believe you are unstoppable. Thank you for tuning in to Kingdom Conversations, and I will holler at y'all next Monday. Have an amazing day, guys. Peace.